Night a high-vaulted narrow Gothic chamber. Faust, restless, seated at his desk. Star Faust, I have, alas, philosophy, medicine, jurisprudence too, and to my cost theology, with ardent labor, studied through. And here I stand, with all my lore, poor fool, no wiser than before. Magister, doctor styled, indeed, already these 10 years I lead, up, down, across, and to and fro, my pupils by the nose, and learn, that we in truth can nothing know. That in my heart like fire doth burn. 'Tis true I've more cunning than all your dull tribe, magister and doctor, priest, parson, and scribe. Scribbler doubt comes not to enthrall me, neither can devil nor hell now apple me, hence also my heart must all pleasure forego. I may not pretend, ought rightly to know, I may not pretend, through teaching, to find a means to improve or convert mankind. Then I have neither goods nor treasure, no worldly honor, rank, or pleasure, no dog in such fashion would longer live. Therefore myself to magic I give, in hope, through spirit voice and might, secrets now veiled to bring to light, that I no more, with aching brow, need speak of what I nothing know, that I the force may recognize that binds creation's inmost energies, her vital powers, her embryo seeds survey, and fling the trait in empty words away. O full-orbed moon, did but thy rays there last upon mine anguished gaze. Beside this desk, at dead of night, oft have I watched to hail thy light. Then, pensive friend, or book and scroll, with soothing power, thy radiance stole. And thy dear light, might I climb, freely, some mountain height sublime, round mountain caves with spears ride, in thy mild haze o'er meadows glide, and, purged from knowledge fumes, renew my spirit, in thy healing dew. Woe's me, still prisoned in the gloom of this suborid and musty room, where heaven's dear light itself doth pass, but dimly through the painted glass. Hemmed in by volumes thick with dust, worm-eaten, hid 'neath rust and mold, and to the high vault's topmost bound, a smoke-stained paper compassed round, with boxes round thee piled, and glass. And many a useless instrument, with old ancestral lumber blent. This is thy world. A world. Alas. And dost thou ask why heaves thy heart, with tight-knit pressure in thy breast? Why the dull ache will not depart, by which thy life pulse is suppressed? Instead of nature's living sphere, created for mankind of old, brute skeletons surround thee here, and dead men's bones in smoke and mold. Up, forth into the distant land. Is not this book of mystery by Nostradamus's proper hand, an all-sufficient guide? Thou'lt see the courses of the stars unrolled, when nature doth her thoughts unfold to thee, thy soul shall rise, and see communion high with her to hold, as spirit doth with spirit speak, vain by dull pouring to divine the meaning of each hallowed sign. Spirits, I feel you hovering near, make answer, if my voice ye hear. He opens the book and perceives the sign of the macrocosmos. At this spectacle through every sense, what sudden ecstasy of joy is flowing. I feel new rapture, hallowed and intense, through every nerve and vein with ardor glowing. Was it a god who charactered this scroll, the tumult in my spirit healing, or my sad heart with rapture stealing, and by a mystic impulse, to my soul, the powers of nature all around revealing? Am I a god? What light intense? In these pure symbols do I see, nature exert her vital energy. Now the wise man's words I learn the sense, unlocked the spirit world doth lie, how all things live and work, and ever blending, weave one vast whole from being's ample range. How powers celestial, rising, and descending, their golden buckets ceaseless interchange. Their flight on rapture-breathing pinions winging, from heaven to earth their genial influence bringing, through the wild sphere their chimes melodious ringing. A wondrous show, but a show alone. Where shall I grasp thee, infinite nature, where? Ye breasts, ye fountains of all life, whereon hang heaven and earth, from which the withered heart for solace yearns, ye still impart your sweet and fostering tides. Where are ye, where? Ye gush, and must I languish in despair? He turns over the leaves of the book impatiently, and perceives the sigh of the earth spirit. How all unlike the influence of this sign. Earth spirit, thou to me art nigher, and now my strength is rising higher, and now I glow as with new wine. Courage I feel, abroad the world to dare, the woe of earth, the bliss of earth to bear, with storms to wrestle, brave the lightning's glare, and mid the crashing shipwreck, not despair. Clouds gather over me, the moon conceals her light, the lamp is quenched, vapors are rising quivering round my head, flash the red beams down from the vaulted roof, a shuddering horror floats, and seizes me. I feel it, spirit, prayer compelled, 'tis thou art hovering near. Unveil thyself. How my heart is riven now. Each sense, with eager palpitation, is strained to catch some new sensation. I feel my heart surrender it unto thee. Thou must, though life should be the fee. He seizes the book, and pronounces mysteriously the sign of the spirit. A ruddy flame flashes up, the spirit appears in the flame. Spirit who calls me. Faust, turning aside, dreadful shape. Spirit with might, thou hast compelled me to appear, long hast been sucking at my sphere, and now Faust woes me. I cannot bear thy sight. Spirit, to see me thou dost breathe thine invocation, my voice to hear, to gaze upon my brow, me doth thy strong entreaty bow low. I am here. What cowering agitation grasps thee, the demigod? Where is now the soul's deep cry? Where is the breast, which in its depths the world conceived and bore and cherished? which, with ecstasy, to rank itself with us, the spears, heaved. Where art thou, Faust? Whose voice I heard resound, who towards me pressed with energy profound? Art thou he? Thou, who by my breath art blighted, who, in his spear's depths affrighted, trembles, a crushed and writhing worm. Faust shall I yield, thing of flame, to thee? Faust, and thine equal, I am he. Spirit in the currents of life, in action's storm, I float and I wave thus time's whirring loom unceasing I ply, and weave the life garment of deity. Faust thou, restless spirit, dost from end to end o'ersweep the world, how near I feel to thee. Spirit thou art like the spirit, thou dost comprehend, not me. Vanishes. Faust not thee. Whom then? I, God's own image. And not rank with thee. Enoch. O death. I know it, 'tis my famulus, my fairest fortune now escapes. That all these visionary shapes a soulless groveler should banish thus. Wagner in his dressing gown and nightcap, a lamp in his hand. Faust turns round reluctantly. Wagner, pardon. I heard you here declaim. A Grecian tragedy you doubtless read. Improvement in this art is now my aim, for nowadays it much avails. Indeed an actor, oft I've heard it said, as teacher, may give instruction to a preacher. Faust, if your priest should be an actor too, as not improbably may come to pass. Wagner, when in his study pent the whole year through, man views the world, as through an optic glass, on a chance holiday, and scarcely then, how by persuasion can he govern men? Faust, if feeling prompt not, if it doth not flow fresh from the spear's depths, with strong control swing to rapture every listener's soul, idle your toil, the chase you may forego, brood o'er your task. Together glue, cook from another's feast your own ragout, still prosecute your paltry game, and fan your ash heaps into flame. Thus children's wonder you'll excite, and apes, if such your appetite. But that which issues from the heart alone, will bend the hearts of others to your own. Wagner the speaker in delivery will find success alone, I still am far behind. Faust a worthy object still pursue. Be not a hollow tinkling fool. Sound understanding, judgment true, find utterance without art or rule. And when in earnest you are moved to speak, then is it needful cunning words to seek. Your fine harangues, so polished in their kind, wherein the shreds of human thought ye twist, are unrefreshing as the empty wind, whistling through withered leaves and autumn mist. Wagner, O God! How long is art, our life how short? With earnest zeal still as I plied the critic's task, I feel a strange oppression both of head and heart. The very means how hardly are they won, by which we to the fountains rise. And haply, ere one half the course is run, check it in his progress, the poor devil dies. Faust parchment, is it the sacred fount whence roll waters, he thirsteth not who once hath quaffed? Oh, if it gush not from thine aimless soul, thou hast not won the life-restoring draught. Wagner, your pardon. 'Tis delightful to transport oneself into the spirit of the past, to see in times before us how wise man thought, and what a glorious height we have achieved at last. Faust, truly. Even to the loftiest star. To us, my friend, the ages that are past a book with 7 seals, close fastened, are, and what the spirit of the times men call, is merely their own spirit after all, wherein, distorted oft, the times are glassed. Then truly, 'tis a sight to grieve the soul. At the first glance we fly it in dismay, a very lumber room, a rubbish hole, at best a sort of mock heroic play, with saws pragmatical, and maxims sage, to suit the puppets in their mimic stage. Wagner, but then the world and man, his heart and brain. Touching these things all men would something know. Faust, what among men is knowledge doth obtain? Who on the child its true name dares bestow? The few who somewhat of these things have known, who their full hearts unguardedly reveal it, nor thoughts, nor feelings, from the mob conceal it, have died on crosses, or in flames been thrown. Excuse me, friend, far now the night is spent, for this time we must say adieu. Wagner, still to watch on I had been well content, thus to converse so learnedly with you. But as tomorrow will be Easter day, some further questions grant, I pray, with diligence to study still I fondly cling, already I know much, but would know everything. Exit. Faust, alone, how him alone all help abandons never, to empty trash who clings, with zeal untired, with greed for treasure gropes, and, joy inspired, exults if earthworms second his endeavor. And dare a voice of merely human birth, and hear, where shapes immortal throng it intrude. Yet thou poorest of the sons of earth, for once, I unto thee feel gratitude. Despair the power of sense did well nigh blast, and thou didst save me ere I sank dismayed, so giant-like the vision seemed, so vast, I felt myself shrink dwarfed as I surveyed. I, God's own image, from this soil of clay already freed, with eager joy who hailed the mirror of eternal truth unveiled, mid light effulgent and celestial day, I, more than cherub, his unfettered soul with penetrative glances spurred, to flow through nature's veins, and, still creating, know the life of God's how am I punished now? When thunder word hath hurled me from the goal. Spirit, I dare not lift me to thy sphere. What though my power compelled thee to appear, my art was powerless to detain thee here. In that great moment, rapture fraught, I felt myself so small, so great, fiercely didst thrust me from the realm of thought back on humanity's uncertain fate. Who'll teach me now? What ought I to forego? Ought I that impulse to obey? Alas! Our every deed, as well as every woe, impedes the tenor of life's onward way. And to the noblest by the soul conceived, some feelings cling of baser quality. And when the goods of this world are achieved, each nobler aim is turned to cheat, a lie. Our aspirations, our soul's genuine life, grow torpid in the din of earthly strife. Though youthful fantasy, while hope inspires, stretch o'er the infinite her wings sublime, a narrow compass limits her desires, when record our fortunes in the gulf of time. In the deep heart of man care builds her nest, where secret woes she broodeth there, sleepless she rocks herself and scareth joy and rest. Still as she wants some new disguise to wear, she may as house and court, as wife and child appear, as dagger, poison, fire and flood. Imagined evils chill thy blood, and what thou ne'er shalt lose, or that dost shed the tear. I am not like the gods. Feel it I must. I'm like the earthworm, writhing in the dust, which, as on dust it feeds, its native fare, crushed neath the passer's tread, lies buried there. Is it not dust, wherewith this lofty wall, with 100 shelves, confines me round, rubbish, in 1,000 shapes, may I not call what in this small world doth my being bound? Here, what doth fail me, shall I find? Read in 1,000 tomes that, everywhere, self-torture is the lot of humankind, with but one mortal happy, here and there. Thou hollow skull, that grin, what should it say, but that thy brain, like mine, of old perplexed, still yearning for the truth, hath sought the light of day. And in the twilight wondered, sorely vexed. Ye instruments, forsooth, ye mock at me with wheel, and cog, and ring, and cylinder, to nature's portals, ye should be the key, cunning you wards, and yet the bolts ye fail to stir. Inscrutable in broadest light, to be unveiled by force she doth refuse, what she reveals not to thy mental sight, thou wilt not wrest me from her with levers and with screws. Old useless furnitures, yet stand ye here, because my sire ye served, now dead and gone. Old scroll, the smoke of years does wear, so long as o'er this desk the sorry lamp hath shone. Better my little means hath squandered quite away, than burden it by that little here to sweat and groan. Wouldst thou possess thy heritage, I say, by use to render it thine own? What we employ not, but impedes our way, that which the hour creates, that can it use alone. But wherefore to yon spot is riveted my gaze? Is yonder flasket there magnet to my sight? Whence this mild radiance that around me plays, as when, mid forest gloom, reeineth the moon's soft light? Hail precious phial! Thee, with reverent awe, down from thine old receptacle I draw. Science in thee I hail and human art. Essence of deadliest powers, refined and sure, of soothing anodynes abstraction pure, now in thy master's need thy grace impart. I gaze on thee, my pain is lulled to rest, I grasp thee, calm the tumult in my breast, the flood tide of my spirit ebbs away, onward I'm summoned o'er boundless main, calm at my feet, expands the glassy plain, to shores unknown allures a brighter day. Lo, where a car of fire, on airy pinion, comes floating towards me. I'm prepared to fly by a new track through ether's wide dominion, to distant spheres of pure activity. This life intense, this god-like ecstasy warm that thou art, such rapture canst thou earn. Only resolve with courage stern and high, thy visage from the radiant sun to turn. Dare with determinate will to burst the portals past which in terror others fain would steal. Now is the time, through deeds, to show that mortals the calm sublimity of gods can feel, to shudder not at yonder dark abyss, where fantasy creates her own self-torturing brood, ride onward to the yawning gulf to press, around whose narrow jaws rolleth hell's fiery flood. With glad resolve to take the fatal leap, though danger threaten thee, to sink in endless sleep. Pure crystal goblet, forth I draw thee now, from out thine antiquated case, where thou forgotten hast reposed for many a year. Oft at my father's revels thou didst shine, to glad the earnest guests was thine, as each to other passed the generous cheer. The gorgeous breed of figures, quaintly wrought, which he who quaff it must first in rhyme expound, then drain the goblet at one draught profound, hath nights of boyhood to fond memory brought. I to my neighbors shall not reach thee now, nor on thy rich device shall I my cunning show. Here is a juice, makes drunk without delay, its dark brown flood thy crystal round doth fill. Let this last draught, the product of my skill, my own free choice, be quaffed with resolute will, a solemn festive greeting, to the coming day. He places the goblet to his mouth. The ringing of bells, and choral voices,